Hello and welcome. I'm Preetham Bora, and with me are two very special guests on this very special occasion. Minoru Kato, President and CEO, Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India, and of course, you're witnessing Guleria, Senior Vice President Sales and Marketing, Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India. Kato-san, the first question to you, the new Honda CB300R, it's taken a long time coming. In fact, when we saw it first about a year and a half at the EICMA, we had talked about it, that this is the perfect bike for India. That's the segment that's growing in India. How come it took so long to get here finally?
Thank you for your question. Yes, thank you for waiting. But the preparation for the CKD or preparation for the Indian type, for example, Sarigat, such and such. Then, and of course, we have the limited capacity for the CKD model, CB650 or Africa Twin. Thanks to Africa Twin, good sales. Then today, end of the day, or finally, we can introduce this model in India.
Guleria-san, next question to you. We've seen a lot of growth, although the volumes are in the lower capacity models, but the growth in terms of percentage terms is more in the 300 to 500 cc. And this is the first product that you launched today and bang on in the 300 cc segment. So what are the expectations from this segment going forward from Honda?
First is the introduction of the DNA of Honda. For the first time riders who want to graduate into the fun biking and the premium bike segment. So it will be the first taste of the Honda engineering and the mechanical wonder and the DNA. So it is in a stepwise manner, yes. In future, we do hope that with maybe increased lineup and then expanding infrastructure. So we need to work out more details on it, and then maybe shortly we'll come back with that plan to you. But right now, since we have a limited CKD capacity, and fortunately very good response came when we announced in middle of January the bookings open, and we promised that we would be bringing it sub 2,50,000, and we delivered on promise today by saying it's a very reasonable price at 2,41,000 pan India, the same ex-showroom price. Already we are booked for almost 3 months of our production, so initial response is excellent. We have been preparing, as you asked Mr. Kato, on what preparations were going on. Yes, we have to take care of after sales as well. We were at 22 network which we have. How do we not only do the readiness in advance, the preparation in advance, to take care of after sales? So all this preparation plus the limited capacity of the CKD was one of the reasons for a little bit of delay. But we are sure with this kind of reasonable pricing which was announced, it is worth its weight. It is also evident with the kind of bookings which we got for CB300R.
So coming back to bookings, how many bookings have you had so far, and what kind of response do you see going forward? And the capacity that you're talking about, what is the capacity of this, the CB300R in particular?
As far as capacity is concerned, we need to work out on the 3 models which are there on the line, and also it is quite possible to start the second shift. So based on that numbers and how to mix this production within these 3 models is quite possible. But we have original commitment to take care of first the Africa Twin customers, and then now we have good bookings. So we will do some adjustment so that the customer need not have to wait for long. In terms of numbers, I would only say, based on our production plan, it is almost 3 months of booking, more than 3 months of booking. Because at this stage, numbers are not very important, but cultivating the culture of fun and premium biking, taste of Honda engineering is more important on our priority list.
Kato-san, the Neo Sports CAFÉ concept that was a revolutionary design, modern take on the CAFÉ racer, the classic CAFÉ racer design. It's taken the world by storm, in fact. A lot of positive responses coming. What do you think of the design in this way, and why CKD? Why not completely made in India? That could have made a slightly more attractive price point, perhaps?
Yes, of course. As you know well, this CAFÉ racer concept series from 1000 cc to 300 cc. Then we selected this one to introduce the more enjoy riding in India.
So Guleria-san, the positioning of this product, 2.41 lakh, well, attractive pricing, yes, but don't you think it is completely in tune with the KTM 390 Duke, which has got more performance, more power maybe, and of course the 250 Duke, which makes about the same power. The Indian consumer looks at the power, the output, which is a lot more affordable than this one. Is that pricing, do you think, right, or is that pricing going to be attractive for the Indian consumer in this segment?
So there would be two benchmarks to evaluate how far we have been successful in getting the response from the market. So one obviously is from the bookings. We are confident that this pricing and the overall package in terms of performance, the features, it has been well accepted. And even we'd like to thank the media, because as you rightly mentioned, this product took almost 14 months to come from the Tokyo Motor Show 2017 showcase. And but globally, Honda had a plan that for other priority countries where the volumes of such categories are higher, so they were the first on the list, and we were a little later because we had other models coming in like Africa Twin and so. But now already globally more than 14 countries are selling CB300R. But at this pricing, this package, and some of the industry first features, we not only we are talking about the max speed or so, but there is very good balance of torque to weight ratio. The initial pickup is also very thrilling because it is very nimble on its initial response, throttle response, and upside down forks will also very attractive feature to excite the customer to have the first hand feel of the playful ride of 300R. We are confident because right now it has to come on road. Let's wait for the first review, our first hand review from March onwards once we start selling this product.
So Kato-san, looking at the growth numbers percentage wise, 300 to 500cc seems to be the way forward. Do you have any more plans? The CB400R, CBR400R has just been launched. How about that?
Yeah, as of now, we don't want to mention about the new product schedule, but in the future, we expect this category still have a big potential to increase. So we are going to introduce another model in the near future.
Okay. So does it mean going forward, Honda Motorcycle and Scooter India will see more middleweight bikes than smaller commuter 100-110cc bikes?
We are going to focus on both scooter and small motorcycle and middleweight motorcycle.
Okay. During the presentation, you said 6 million bikes in 2018 alone in the calendar year. What does the future look for, and what does the percentage growth in terms of segments look for? Commuter bikes, scooters, mid segments, and bigger bikes.
If talking about the percentage for the growth, the premium range is the most potential, and of course scooter and small range motorcycle. Every category has a big potential to increase. That's our expectation.
Guleria-san, talking about the big bikes from the 300cc that you said is a stepping stone for somebody who's looking forward to a little class bike. Now that means the CBR 1000R, the CB 1000R, and maybe even the Africa Twin or that kinds. So what does this offer to a consumer who's probably graduating from a 150cc? What does it offer? What is the USP of this bike?
So we already shared with you. First is that in its class, one of the key differentiating factor in terms of ride feel is the torque to the weight ratio. So it is the lightest weight in its own segment, and which is gives a thrill and a nimble pickup, and initial throttle response is so exciting. So once you ride the bike, I know you are a riding enthusiast, once you will have the first ride feel, you will find, because if we explain while this bike is static, I don't think they make any appeal. You have to be on the bike, you need to feel the throttle, then the real difference will come in front of you. So we hope that once you ride this and the customers, they have the first ride feel, they feel that it is very playful, it is very responsive, and a very good balance of the naked street riding.
Okay, we'll look forward to riding the bike soon perhaps. And the CKD lineup, you've got some interesting products. The Africa Twin has been very well received in India. There's been a lot of demand from some of the customers that the Africa Twin manual transmission should also come to India. Many of the customers are saying that we wish that the manual transmission was also available. Do you have any plans of such in mind for the Africa Twin?
See, initially when we did launch, Mr. Kato has just arrived, so we had some discussion. It was not easy because the customer has been used to riding with that fun of changing the gears as they wish based on the riding conditions, and their expectation of something as a technology replacing that real thrill, which is having control in own hands, and it can give the same kind of output through technology. They had that apprehension and mindset, but once we gave them that ride feel, that they could find that real thrill and real adventure of DCT. Even today, now we have the Gold Wing with DCT, and since we already have a good tribe, we have close to 150 odd customers of Africa Twin in India. They are all thrilled. Most of the auto journalists who also had apprehension earlier, once they took this long ride, which we had for 4-5 days, they really found that different, and they become more friendly, more comfortable. But anything what is new will definitely have those challenges of acceptance. But finally, the good technology will prevail. And what we find today, all those Africa Twin tribe members, the adventure riders, they are very, very happy. There is still, okay, there is some percentage. We would not say nobody is saying that we want, but now the ratio has changed. Earlier maybe 70% wanted manual and 30% only for DCT, but now it has reversed, that there is a strong positive word of mouth for the DCT technology which we have in Africa Twin.
So Kato-san, the CKD lineup in India, you have several products. The next one is probably CBR650R, so doing pretty well, the all models. So what kind of expectation do you have from that?
Yeah, sorry about that. Future plan we don't want to mention about, but still as I mentioned earlier, the premium bike range, we believe the market potential or customer demand will increase further. So we have a plan to expand our CKD lineup in the future. Thank you.
Okay. Guleria-san, a couple of more questions to you. Sales and marketing in your space, in your expertise. So what has been are you looking at developing more in terms of experiential things for the customer? In terms of, we see a couple of accessories and apparel. Are you looking at branching out to that also?
We need to really understand the pulse of the market, and especially in this segment. So we are very well aware, maybe we are taking baby steps, but we do realize and we have a plan, long-term, stepwise manner to not only meet the expectation, but how to delight the customers. So that is why when we declare this, fun biking to take, how to take this business forward, we said it will be under umbrella of the Silver Wing mark. And Silver Wing mark will definitely keep as top priority what you just mentioned, the experiential marketing, because customers' expectation is beyond the sales and beyond only the product. We really need to engage with them. We need to provide them more opportunities where they can interact with the brand, they can feel the brand, they can taste the brand. It's not only the product. So it's all about the total package of experiential marketing in terms of ambience, in terms of servicing, in terms of greeting. So there is a lot of work we need to do. We have now the plan lined up for that, and one by one we are going to tick all those boxes so that we are not only meeting but exceeding the expectations, especially from the fun biking customers' point of view.
Okay, so the sense of community seems to be the buzzword amongst almost all the brands in India so far. Everybody seems to have invested in a community of riders. So where is Honda? Where is your future in that? Are you looking at building a strong community so that that translates into more sales, more customers, more customer base, more fan base?
So one thing we bring on board, even though we haven't got very high UIO of running wing mark super bikes in the country, but what we bring in is, we have a community of nicest people on Honda. This was a very good campaign run in United States, but once we meet those guys who are riding Honda bikes, their priority on safe riding, their priority of doing something for the society, remaining engaged as an informed user, it is, we find it very different from the other riders. So this is one good thing. When we meet them, it's not that we are inviting only Honda riders. So all the weekend rides which we are doing, whether we are doing in Mumbai, Bangalore or in Delhi NCR area, we are inviting, we are very open today. It's not only exclusive Honda. And you can very well find, once we are engaging, how the customers of the wing riders are a little differentiated from the other users. So that gives us confidence that even though we haven't done much to build that community, but as a mindset, they are already oriented with the Honda DNA, they are oriented with our philosophy. Now it's our role. How do we lead them, to make a big mark as community leader of riding in future in India? So we have to do a lot on it, and we have a plan. So we'll keep on doing, as I shared with you, those tick mark on the boxes.
I'll take a cue from your answer, and this question is first to you, and the same question to you. Guleria-san rightly said you meet the nicest people on a Honda, and I'll take that cue from that answer about the Honda Cub, the largest selling two-wheeler in history. The Super Cub's been quite well received in markets abroad, so there's no chance of any demand for that in India anytime soon?
As of now, we don't have any plan to introduce Super Cub in India, but if historically, we never introduced.
Step-through was not a success in the design in India.
For example, many success stories in ASEAN country, thanks to durability, thanks to fuel consumption. But in the case of India,
Step-throughs haven't been.
Yeah, female customer historically not so much. Currently, many female customers in South or West prefer to scooter, but Super Cub, yeah, that's a great product from my point of view. But if from Indian customer point of view, little bit small, too much small, and little bit less than not to feel the power from the Super Cub.
The same question to Guleria-san. You've of course known the Indian industry much more than Kato-san has. Step-throughs haven't been a success, yes, but the Bajaj M50, M80 based on the Super Cub have been quite popular back in the 80s. So don't you think that same success can be replicated if the Super Cub comes to India now? Do you have any market insights about that?
It's not that only there was one product. There have been several others, in the similar range which has come by other makers, but they didn't, make a mark on it. So that itself talks about maybe there has been a shift in the consumer and customer preferences, and it was not a design which was a universal in terms of acceptance throughout the country. When you talk about that segment, it was still very limited to particular geographical regions in the country. Today also there is one of the segment which is very, very limited to certain pockets. So that's the story about the Cub. So we honestly, we as totality as a country, once we see it is being considered very strange design, to have a mass acceptance. So it may change in the future, we cannot say, but it looks like still scooters remains the more preferred style in terms of a complete family vehicle.
Okay, the last question to you, Guleria-san. Scooters, you've been doing great stuff with the scooters. Preference seems to be going towards more performance-oriented, larger displacement 125cc scooters. So where do you see the scooter space evolving from now on?
Obviously, a particular segment within any, whether it is four-wheeler or two-wheelers, becomes exciting and numbers grow. It is bound to happen, the sub-segmentation will happen, because one segment giving very large volume, then people want a little change and taste, and then upgradation. This is already been seen. That's why a couple years back we also had the Activa 125. Now then we had the Grazia also in the 125cc segment. There is a upgradation we can obviously see. Some of the customer also the first time buyer going for a 125cc. But in terms of the total pie of the business share, still the 110cc scooter is a much larger pie. Shift is visible, but it's not that it is going to vanish or it is going to shrink to an extent there is no business. There is a large potential which still exists in the 110cc, while we need to expand in the 125cc segment as well, which is a natural process which is going to take its own sweet time.
So will it be correct to say that the scooters will go on and one side the focus will also be in the premium segment.
Yeah, we have 32% even now, right? So though there was a slight dip in the total contribution, still it is FY17 was also 32%. It is only the last year from FY18 it was around 33%. In now YTD basis it is 32%, but it has not gone okay what it used to be 10 years back. Even last 6 years compounded annual growth rate of the total segmentation, if you take in India, the total two-wheeler market has grown 7%, but in scooters it has grown 17%. So we cannot ignore the long-term analysis and data that it is still favoring the scooters. There have been small bumps which we have seen in this overall period, and it is a cycle. But surely there is large potential. Urbanization is happening, more license by the working female, for two-wheeler. So what obviously it is indicating that there will be more riders which are going to come and buy a scooter, and for a complete family, scooter will remain the #1 choice.
Well, so there you have it. Scooters are going to remain very popular, but of course, Honda is betting on a premium segment as well. Thank you, Guleria-san. Thank you, Kato-san, for spending time with us. Thank you so much.